Hey everyone, Jamie here from TechnicalCafe.com, and in this tutorial we're going to be talking about access modifiers in Java and how we can go about using them to better control or even restrict access to various parts of a program, like a variable, a constructor, a method, or even a class. So why might you want to use an access modifier? So let's say you have code within a class that you don't want code within another class to be able to access. In a case like that, you'd want to use an access modifier to prevent this from happening. And this could be for any number of reasons, such as there being sensitive information or something like that. So let's take a look at what we have here. So we have a bankaccount.java class, which contains three variables, an int variable called account number, a string variable called account holder, and a double variable called balance. Coming over here to main.java, we have just the main method, which is where we're going to be instantiating an object of bank account and testing some of the access modifiers to see how they work. So coming back to bankaccount.java, let's talk about what an access modifier actually is. So as we mentioned before, you can use them to restrict access to various parts of a program, like a variable, stuff like that. And in order to use an access modifier, all you need to do is type it before the attribute that you're going to try to change the access of. So for example, we have right here in front of this class the public access modifier, meaning that any class can access this class here. So there are three types of access modifiers, and four technically if you include the default one, with the different types being public, meaning it can be accessed by any class anywhere. It pretty much has a free range there. You have private, which means that only the code within the class itself can access that method, variable, something like that. And then you have protected, which means that the classes within a package can have access to this attribute, method, or anything like that. So by default, everything's going to be accessible to within the package. So it's kind of like protected, but it's not called that. It's just by default, everything is accessible within the package here. So let's talk about first off what the package is. So if we come over here to our Java tutorials folder here, you'll notice that we have the default package here, and all of these classes are contained within it. So all these classes could technically have access to whatever is in these other classes within this package, provided they're not set to private. So let's take a look at how we can use some access modifiers. So right here we have the default access modifiers and play with these three variables. Let's go over to main.java and instantiate an object of bank account class. So we'll say bank account. We'll call it my account equals new bank account. And now let's go ahead and try to print out the value of, let's say, the account number variable. So we can say system.out.println, and let's go ahead and say myaccount.account number. And if we go ahead and compile this program and run it, you'll notice that we get the account number here. It took a little while, but we got the account number here, which is 1234. And that's because it is accessible within this package. So this main.java class is in the same package as bankaccount.java. Let's say, for example, we change this to private. So all you need to do to change the access of this particular variable is just write private before the type declaration. So we have private int account number. And if we come back over here and compile this, and then try to run it, you'll notice that we have an error. So let's go ahead and proceed anyway. And it'll say exception in thread main java.lang.error, unresolved compilation problem. The field bankaccount.account number is not visible. And it'll also show you over here that we do have a compiler error. So if you hover over this variable here, you'll notice that we do have the fact that it's not visible, and we can also change the visibility to default, which will again allow you to access it. So that just brings it back to the default behavior here. So we can then go ahead and compile and run it, and we should get access to this. So let's go ahead and just try this with a couple other variables that are in here. So let's try to access account holder. So we'll say system.out.println myaccount.account holder. And let's just go ahead and print this and see what happens. So you'll notice that we have 1234 and then my name Jamie here, as my name is the account holder name. And we'll do the same thing for the double. So system.out.println, and we'll say my account.balance. And again, if we compile and run, you'll notice that that should also print out as well, simply because these are all within the package. So let's say we want to mark the string one as private. What'll happen if we do that is we'll get a compilation error, and that's because we cannot we cannot run this. And actually, it's not a compilation error; it's a runtime error. But again, you can see here, we launched it, we got an exception thrown. What if we try to change this here from private to protected? You'll notice that our error goes away, and if we come over here to main.java, you'll notice that our error also goes away. So let's go ahead and try to run this here. You'll notice that everything works again because this account holder variable is within the same package as the main.java class, so that it worked out pretty nicely. If you want, you can even declare it as public, and because it's in the same package, no different behavior is going to happen. But if you wanted to grant access to this account number variable, for example, to classes outside of the package, you could do so by declaring it as public. So that's pretty much all there is to access modifiers. Certain access modifiers cannot be used with classes. You can't make a class private, and you cannot protect a class either. For more information about them, you can just do a quick Google search and find out how they can be used and where they can be used. But that's just a quick tutorial. Feel free to play around with them and also try to understand why they would be used in the Java language. So thank you for watching, and have a great day.